Hi, welcome back to my channel. Before we talk about our topics today, let me introduce myself. My name is RISKI TIAR ANANDA and my last student number ID is 007 and I'm from class 3A.
Before we talk about our topic today, let's see our timeline. So first, we will talk about quadratic equation. And then, the second one is we will talk about how to find the root of quadratic equation. And then, we will exercise about it. And after we exercise about it, we will talk about what is quadratic function. Fifth is how to graph a quadratic function. And then the last one is we will exercise all about our topic today. So, first of all, what is quadratic equation? Quadratic equation is an equation that have a variable to the power of 2. The quadratic equation has a general form like this: ax squared plus bx plus c, which is a is not equal to 0. If a equal to 0, this form will not a quadratic form again, because if a equal to 0, that is 0 times x squared, it will be 0, right? And then bx plus c, that's not a quadratic form. Then we will talk about the example of quadratic equation. First, in this example, 5x squared plus 4x plus 3 is equal to 0. It is an quadratic equation because a is not 0, and then in this example there is x squared. So a is equal to 1, b equal to 4, and c equal to 3. Next, x squared plus 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. This is also an quadratic equation because this is have a equal to 1, and then this also have x squared. Because of that, a equal to 1, b equal to 2, and c equal to 3. And then next, this is not a quadratic equation. It is because a is equal to 0. There is no x squared, right? Okay, next. Now, we will talk about how to find the root or the solution of quadratic equation. So, to find the root of the quadratic equation, there is a several ways. The first one we can use that is factorization. The second one is perfect square, and the last one is quadratic formula. Quadratic formula will always help us to find the root. So, I need all of you to write this equation to your notebook. Okay? Next. Now, we will exercise how to find the root. Let's start from the number 1. Find the root of x squared plus 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. To answer this question, we can use factorization. X squared plus 3x plus 2 is equal to 0 can be in parenthesis x plus 1 times in parenthesis x plus 2 is equal to 0. Because of that, x plus 1 is equal to 0 or x plus 2 is equal to 0. And then x is equal to minus 1 or x is equal to minus 2. So, in number 2, find the root of x squared plus 4x plus 2 is equal to 0. To answer this question, we can use a perfect square. So, x squared plus 4x plus 2 is equal to 0 will become, in parenthesis, x plus minus 2 square is equal to 0. And then because of that, x will become plus minus 2. Next, in number 3, find the root of 3x squared plus 6x plus 9 is equal to 0. To answer this question, we can use quadratic formula. So, 3x squared plus 6x plus 9 is equal to 0. We can use this formula. Remember this formula, yes? And then, x1, 2 is equal to minus 13 plus minus the root of 13 squared minus 4 times 3 times 13 divided by 2 times 3. And then x1, 2 will be minus 13 plus minus the root of 13 per 6. And then we will get x1 is equal to minus 13 plus the root of 13 per 6, or x2 is equal to minus 13 minus the root of 13 per 6. Okay, next. Now we will talk about quadratic function. So what is quadratic function? Quadratic function is a function that has a quadratic equation in it. The quadratic function has a general form like this. Fx is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c, which is a must be not equal to 0. Okay? A must be not equal to 0. Now, in this form, x is a variable that we doesn't know yet what is the value of x, and a, b, and c is a variable that we know the value of it. Okay, next, we will talk about how to write the graph of quadratic function. Before we talk about how to graph it, I will give you some of example of a quadratic sample. So here is the graph of x squared. Now you look at this. Yeah, this is like an alphabet U, right? Or we can also call this line is like a parabola. And then this is the graph of minus x squared. So the quadratic function will always have a graph like a parabola or like a alphabet U. Okay, next, to draw a graph of quadratic function, we must use some steps. So the first step is we must determine the axis of symmetry. So the equation of axis symmetry is x, you look at this, x is equal to minus b per 2a. And then the second step is we will find the intersection of the curve with the x-axis. To find this, we must assume that y is equal to 0. And then the third step is we must find the intersection of the curve with the y-axis. To find the intersection of the y-axis, we must assume that x is equal to 0. And then the last step is we must determine the vertex. The equation to determine the vertex, we can use this equation. Yeah? Okay? Please remember this equation. Okay, next, we will try to exercise about it. So please prepare your notebook. Okay, write the graph of this function. Fx is equal to x squared plus 2x minus 8. Let's go from the first step. We determine the axis of symmetry. Now, to determine the axis of symmetry, we use the equation x is equal to minus b per 2a. Now, we know b is equal to 2 and a is equal to 1. Here is 1. So, x is equal to minus 2 per 2 times 1, right? And then, we will get x is equal to minus 1. So, the axis of symmetry will also in this line. Okay? Next, the second step, we will determine the intersection of x-axis. To determine the intersection of x-axis, we must assume that y is equal to 0. If y is equal to 0, then 0 must be equal to x squared plus 2x minus 8. And then this form will be in parenthesis x plus 1 times in parenthesis x minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, so because of that, we can find that x is equal to minus 4 or x is equal to 2. So we can put some point in minus 4 and in 2, right? Next, the third step is to find the intersection of yx. So we must assume that x is equal to 0. If x is equal to 0, then y must be equal to 0 squared plus 2 times 0 minus 8. Because of that, we will get y is equal to minus 8. So we can put some point in y is equal to minus 8. So this is the point, right? Okay. Now the last step. The last step is we will determine the vertex of this function. Here is the equation to determine the vertex. Because of that, we will get xp is equal to minus b per 2a. Because b is equal to 2 and a is equal to 1, we will get xp is equal to minus 1. And then yp we will get to minus 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times minus 8 per 4 times 1. And then yp is equal to minus 4 plus 32 per 4, which is equal to minus 36 per 4. And then yp is equal to minus 9. So this is the last graph of this function.
Okay, that's all about our topics today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye bye!